Hello, friends. Today I'm going to talk about IIM Ahmedabad interview experience and how I converted one of my toughest interview experiences. Firstly, I was invited to a place. I was working for IUCL in a remote location called Haldia, which was 2.5 hours away from Kolkata. And I was invited to a hotel in Kolkata, wherein all the people, almost about 25, 30 odd people, were called for interview on that particular day. And I was waiting for my turn, and it was a very intense experience. One, because there were too many folks. I mean, when we speak to these folks, it feels like everybody is an overachiever. Don't do that mistake. Don't talk to people. Just be yourself, be original. I did that mistake, but don't do it. However, I did overcome, and then eventually I did get into Ahmedabad, but then don't do that. Then secondly, you would have to wait your turn. You'll be called in to a room where 4 or 5 people will be called, so that there's no lag between or transition between interviews. And there'd be in that particular hotel, there were, I believe, 4 or 5 rooms wherein these interviews were being conducted, and parallelly, people were being called into. Now, even if the interview did happen in college, it would be in a similar fashion, wherein the interviews would be conducted in Cindy rooms. Cindy rooms are like study rooms, or you call it, I mean, it looks like a meeting room. I'm going to show a picture of how Cindy room look, but essentially that's where the panelists would sit and the student would walk into those rooms and give their interview. Well, I did went into the interview, and then I was asked, or I was told, to pick a chit. I did pick a chit, and then the topic that was given to me back then was a teacher posted V1 after India versus Pakistan match, and then the teacher was fired. Do you think it's a right choice or wrong? Well, I was totally taken by surprise with this particular extempo topic, and then looking at me, the professor asked, "Would you want to change the topic?" Because it was too controversial. Then I said, "No, I'll go with this." He asked, "Did you read about this in newspaper?" Well, I actually overheard it during one of the conversations with my colleagues, but I actually didn't read it in the newspaper. But then I just told them like I knew about this. Then the actual grinding started. They asked me like, tell uh, why do you think it's justified that the school fired this particular teacher? And I gave reasons like, see, it's wrong on her part, especially since there are so much tensions between the borders between India and Pakistan, so on and so forth. I gave like 5, 6 good reasons, or at least I thought that they were really good reasons. And then the professor had counter argument for everything, literally everything. He just killed all my arguments with one statement. Like, see, all is that she posted V1, but maybe they bet on something else at their home, and then maybe it was not even about the sport in itself, but maybe it was something else. And then there were counter arguments for everything. And then it was like I didn't know whether actually where the interview was heading. In my head, I thought like this is gone, and this was too difficult for me to handle. I did try to give some more arguments, but then the professor was apparently, like, later I got to know that he's one of the most toughest professors. I'm not going to name the professor, but um, I got to know that he's one of the toughest guys to fight against extempore. That was about the extempore. And then they delved into deep topics. When I say deep topics, it's not a superficial question like why do you want to do MBA. It was more like, if I give an answer about why an MBA, then there were three layered questions. Like, why did you wait? Why did I make this choice right at this point? And what incident occurred that made me choose this decision? Things like that. Questioning not just why MBA, about my profile, like the technical background. And there were too many nuances that were drilled deep into before letting me go. And it was like I walked in calm, but when I came out, I was so exhausted with the questions, and I was all sweaty and nervous. It was one of the very difficult interviews, really not knowing what had happened in it. It was just like a bus came and hit me straight in front of face. Well, eventually I did convert, but then the things that I want to tell also about as part of this video is that, see, be yourself. Know that there will be two interviewers. One would be a senior professor and other would be a junior professor. Three, be very deep. Go very deep into your profile. Understand why is it that you want to do an MBA, why IIM Ahmedabad, and what is it that you're going to get by doing this course, and how would it add value to your career trajectory. You need to be self-aware about these things. Three, I already covered, but be very confident, very transparent, and I mean, if you are not, true about yourself, it would show up. So at this point, you need to build your confidence, clarity of thoughts, so that during interview you would not falter. All right. If you think you are a candidate who are going to get into IIM Ahmedabad, or are potentially considering any of the top colleges and are wanting to, prep for these interviews, do check out the link provided in the description box or do reach out to me. I'm going to help you with acing this journey.